Hello and welcome to Gierok Farms. Today we're going to be putting the duals on the 7810. I have to go grab the duals in the other shed. We're going to be doing some subsoiling with it this afternoon, so we got to get her set up and ready for tillage. Alright, we got it up on a block, so it kind of eliminates the squat of the tire that's on the machine so that it's easier to get our dual on. It's up high enough. I'm going to grab our hardware for our duals and some tools so then we can just buzz it on and we're ready to go. Duals are on. 7810 is looking good. Should be ready to go for some tillage.
One of the first snowfalls what are we, November 14th, 15th, I think 14th. It's snowing, and they're predicting a couple inches, and it's a Monday, and they predict every day this week some kind of snow. Doesn't look like we're going to get much in the field work done. I just got done hauling a little manure and kind of get ahead of this thing so I don't come sliding off a hill somewhere. So I got that done, and this here is our subsoiler. It's a Brilliant. This belongs to one of my brothers, which is the one farming on the home place. And I went to pick this up yesterday from his place, got this hooked up, and then I made a short pass, and it was a little greasy because it froze the night before. So then I decided to wait till it started freezing up. So after chores in the evening, it was probably after 9 o'clock in the evening, I went out and where things froze just enough so I got nice traction and no mud or greasing or anything like that. Actually went pretty good. So I made a few passes right on top of the hill where we were driving a lot, and then on the big flat on our end rows or our headland rows or whatever you may want to call them, I made like 4 passes on each end just to get some of that compaction out there. Otherwise I think we're in pretty good shape, but I've been borrowing my brother some other equipment, so we kind of do a little of this back and forth. He must have bought this brand new about 10 years ago already. He hasn't used it a lot, and I've only used it once during that time too. So, and I was going to show you guys us doing this, and even this morning now I was just going to make a couple passes on this field here just to illustrate or demonstrate. And it's snowing, and I got a feeling I'll just be spinning, and it's getting kind of wet out here. So I'm going to get this thing unhooked because I think we're going to be done for a while. 7810, it's probably rated about 150 horse, and it had its hands full. This is just a 4 shank, and you can see here the turnbuckle, you can set this thing a lot deeper than it's already set. After doing this a couple different times, I realized that this thing takes about 50 horsepower per shank. So we're, you know, we had places where the front end starts coming off the ground. I was using my posi traction. And I remember when we were kids, like back in the 70s and 80s, there was nothing like this. We never knew there was such a machine. And everybody had small machinery, no compaction. And now with all the trucks and the larger machines, and even manure hauling, just with those trailers behind tractors, there's a lot of compaction going on in a lot of fields. And what I do to try to avoid some of that, like for instance, the last several mornings, it's been freezing pretty good in the morning. And we'll get a good load of manure on. I'll clean my gutters and maybe clean out some pen someplace and top off the spreader that way. Put it in the heated shop where we keep it anyway. And then first thing in the morning when things are froze, go. So the frozen ground acts like kind of like a crust to hold you, and it prevents a lot of that. And then of course later on in the day it thaws out and gets greasy and you can't go anyway, safely anyway, in these hillsides. So try to prevent a lot of it that way. But there seems like the window of applying manures is never as good as you'd like it to be. I mean, the manure is an ongoing thing, so you never really got it all hauled out. And I let my cows out today, and I've been grazing a field way down there. I don't know if you can even see that with all this snow. They left the barnyard or the barn here like about an hour and a half ago, right before this snow kind of started in. I'm gonna guess they're gonna graze a little while, and they're gonna get cold and they're gonna come running back, so I gotta get my barn ready. Here I got one Jersey. For some reason she said I'm not going. Yep, I guess winter set in, huh? Might have to get that bell off you now, huh? But I've been giving them a little bit of the hayfield that we're going to put into corn next year. So we had to use this field as a cattle lane. We got a fence on each side, and then I got like 14 acres down on the other end we got them grazing on. So been working out pretty good. You got to watch that fence though. The deer seem to like to knock it down, so if you start ignoring things, before you know it, they're going to get out. So anyway, that was a job getting that off of there. That's why we need to get that quick hitch in here, and I'll show you guys that don't know what I'm talking about. I got it in the shop there, but it's more to get everything lined up. You know, it's heavy, there's not a lot of room in there. So pretty much all you're doing is just backing in and lifting. So it comes in with the 3. Sometimes it's worth the extra effort to prevent more effort that's not necessary. Okay, here's one of my my quick hitches, and I like to put it on the 7405 when I use the bush hog. This is a category 2 heavy duty, so there's 3 different categories of link pins where your arms of your tractor go into this pin here. But anyway, so this pin size and this pin size are different. This is smaller, this is bigger. So this here is very heavy built, basically for a smaller tractor to put a larger implement on, which isn't always the best idea when it comes to stuff like this. But I bought it this way so I could use it on several different tractors. You got these levers, and that pulls this back, and that's to get it off. And you got one on this side too, and then you basically drop down to 3-point and everything falls out, and then you put those arms back, which puts this back into position so that your pin can't come out of there. So that's spring loaded. So anyway, when you come to your machine, this center point is what you try to line up. Then you start raising up your 3-point, so it starts entering there. It'll be in there maybe about this far before it starts entering into this slot, and everything will jump right in. And I do have a larger one too that ended up coming with the 7810. It's a John Deere. They made them bigger so they're wider, and I think that machine out there, that would be a better deal, although I think right now that configuration is set up for this one. So what we'll do is sometime in the future when we're doing some of these type of things again, we'll grab our camera and show so you can actually see it work. I mean, you guys that do this stuff, this is nothing new. I think a lot of the really large tractors today, they come with them, or they keep them on all the time. And I mean, you got disc mowers and you got all sorts of implements that go onto the 3-point hitch. That ends up being, you know, something very necessary.